On this episode of Dad Sews, we turn jeans into fancy capris that are customizable.
Dad Sews! Dad Sews! Dad Sews! Dad Sews! Dad Sews! Dad Sews! This is how it goes with Dad Sews!
Hey everyone, thank you for joining me for the latest episode of Dad Sews. I truly appreciate you watching, loving, and sharing our videos. So let's get on to today's tutorial. Now I've seen this tutorial going around Facebook, Pinterest, the internet a lot lately, where you cut off your jeans and put a fancy, beautiful ribbon at the bottom. Well, there's a few things that I don't like about that tutorial. For one, you cut an extra notch into the jeans. That accommodates the bow that you tie. I don't want to cut anything extra into my jeans and have to sew around there. It's just an extra step that I think is unnecessary. I know it accommodates the bow, but that's a second reason I don't like it. Why would you want to tie a bow every time? You know that thing's going to come untied. It's going to get caught on things. It's just going to slide untied. I've got a baby learning to walk. She's going to pull up on my wife's leg and untie that thing and maybe end up falling down when it happens. Why would you want to go through that? But the third and biggest thing I don't like about it is why pick one kind of fabric for your jeans? It's not going to match everything you wear. It's not going to match all of your accessories. Why not have a ribbon or an accent that you can change out each time you want to match your eyeglasses, your hat, your socks? Who knows? You know you've got stuff to match, ladies and men. All right, so that's what we're going to do today. Now, the first step is to cut off your jeans the length you want them. Now, my wife cut her jeans off at this length, so if they're not even, it's not my fault. That's not my problem. All right, now you can take your trusty Fisker pinking shears like I have here, and you can cut them there, and that's going to keep them from fraying. But we're also going to just turn them under a little bit before we sew on our Velcro. Now this Velcro is a one-piece Velcro solution. It sticks to itself. It has the hook and the loop. Now you'll probably get a little better coverage if you put one hook on one side and one loop on the other side, because this has both. It doesn't grab as strongly, but that's up to you. I'm using this kind on a different pair of jeans for my wife. I might use the other kind. See what I like, which one is stronger. But we're just going to turn our jeans under 1/4 inch. We're going to pin them. Then we're going to put our Velcro right here, and we're going to sew it on our machine. And I'm going to use my trusty Wonder Clips right here. Now, I'm going to put a link below the video to the Wonder Clips where you can get them. They're awesome instead of pinning. And I'm also going to put a link to this all-in-one Velcro. All right, let's move to the machine. All right, now when you start to sew, make sure you back stitch. Make sure you're grabbing the jean and the edge of the Velcro. You don't want to sew too much over the Velcro because this is a shared hook and loop system, so you don't want to sew over any of those hook and loops. Just make sure you get on the edge. You could use a zigzag stitch if you think you need that sturdiness, but like I said, if you do so, you need to make sure that you're not sewing over too much of your hook and loop, or it's just not going to grab. Now we're going to do the top and the bottom of our Velcro to make sure it's firmly on our jean. And just make sure you've got that fold underneath there. And really, you don't have to worry about it fraying too much if you don't want to do the pinking shears, but it just kind of helps it. Nobody's ever going to see it. It's going to be turned under. All right, I'm going to finish up going around the bottom, and then I'm going to go around the top, and we'll move on together to the next step. All right, well, we're done with our Velcro piece. Don't forget to sew it on the top and the bottom to keep it secure, and try to stay close to that edge so you don't take up any of the hooks or loops, or the all-in-one hook and loops if that's what you use. All right, now we're going to move on to the fabric accent piece. Now you can use any kind of fabric you want. That's the beauty of this system. I'm not actually going to show you how to sew that on because it's really the exact same that we did with our jeans. But I'm going to show you two different ways you can do it. Now, the not so great way is right here. I just went ahead and folded the fabric to the Velcro and sewed it. I didn't do anything to it. I didn't hem it. I didn't pink it. Nothing. And it frays and it's ugly, although nobody's ever going to see it. If you look on this side, I took pinking shears to it and I went ahead and sewed it after I did the pinking shears. You notice that it's not frayed so much. I definitely like that way better. Now, if you hemmed it, yes, that would be even better, but it's an extra step that I really didn't care about taking. I didn't walk you through this step by step because you don't need to see me sew this. Just take your fabric and sew it to your Velcro. Now it will go along your jeans, and if that's all you want, you have customizable jeans with fabric right there. How pretty is that? It's awesome. But you want to make it super nice, right? Well, it's time to add a decorative bow, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. Okay, now you're just going to take your coordinating fabric and cut a piece. Now mine is 6 by 8, and I'm going to fold it over long ways, right side together, just like that, okay? And then I'm going to sew a stitch down this long line just to make it into a loop. Doesn't have to be pretty, nobody's ever going to see it. Now you want to make sure you press your fabric before you do all this, and then once you get each step done, go ahead and press it again. It'll just make things easier and give you a crisper edge. All right, we cut that loose. Now we take this long tube and we just turn it inside out. So we're going to turn in this corner, or this end, a 1/4 inch, or close to it. All right, and then we're going to take this end and tuck it in. Now, I like to line up my seams so that it looks nice, but you know what? It's up to you. Nobody's really going to see all of this part of the bow, so it really doesn't matter how clean it is. All right, once you've got it together, you're going to sew that seam. Now, be sure you don't sew the other top of the loop. That will ruin your bow. All right, put it under our machine, drop our foot down, and just sew a quick, and maybe even ugly stitch. It's fine. Just remember to pull up that other part of your bow. Whoop, I almost caught it. I almost caught it. All right. Well, I did catch it. And there is a fail. Now this isn't a big enough fail to give a big fail video like we normally do on Dad Sews. We're just going to rip that out and we're going to finish sewing it. It doesn't really matter on this part of the bow because it's going to get sewn again. All right, drop that down. Finish stitching our loop together. All right. All right, now you have a loop, just like a little bracelet, okay? Now what you're going to do is you're going to cut another piece of fabric that's even smaller so that you can make the middle part of your bow. Now this is all going to depend on how big of a bow you want. So make it as small as you need it to be. We're just going to cover up that seam. I'm going to go ahead and sew mine real quick and then I'll be right back. All right, we're in the home stretch. We've got our big loop. We've got our little loop. Now what you're going to do is take your big loop like so and you're just going to squeeze it together. And that's going to be the base of your bow. Now a lot of people say wrap string around it. I say, why use string when we have something better? I use zip ties. All right, so we're going to squeeze this together just like so. We're going to put our zip tie around. The thing about a zip tie is it's going to hold way better than string. You don't have to make sure you get a good knot in there. All you have to do is pull nice and tight. Just adjust your pleats on your bow like so until you're happy with them, and then just squeeze down with that zip tie. All right, I squeeze nice and tight. I even lose my teeth. I'm sure my dentist would have a problem with that. Then we clip off the edge or the excess, and there you go. We have our bow. What do you think? Pretty good. Now we take our little loop and make sure you put the seam in the back and you just squeeze your bow into that loop. Like I said, you can use string, but hey, a zip tie is super strong. It's going to hold in the wash. Why not use it? All right. And there we have our beautiful bow. Now, how do we get it on our strap? This is the most awesome part. You just slide it onto your ribbon. Let's get that in there. It might be a little difficult if you've got it nice and tight, but that's actually what you want, is for it to be nice and tight. And also the hook and loops might grab your fabric just a little bit, but that's okay. Now we have our bow onto our fabric. It looks awesome. Let's see how it looks on the jeans. We just Velcro it right there. Now the beauty of this is, if you want a different color bow, you say, oh, I like this fabric, but I want a gray bow. You can do that. If you want to put the same coordinating fabric to it, you can do that. The same identical fabric, I'm sorry. And you can make the bow anything you want. If the bow gets messed up or torn, it's really easy to replace. This is way prettier than if you tied it yourself every time, because that's just, let's face it, a big pain in the butt. Why not have a pre-made bow? I love this project. I love my wife for pushing me to make that Pinterest project, and I love that I changed it because I think this way is so much better. You have so many options. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Dad Sews. What do you think, Carlin? My son's the cameraman. He's laughing. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Dad Sews. And I hope you share it with your friends. I hope you try out this method. If you like it, let me know. If you hate it, let me know. I don't mind. Don't forget, you can get your own Sew, Fail, Repeat t-shirt at dadsews.com/shop, or just click the shop button. We have them up to 3X in men's and women's. Thanks for watching and sharing, and I will see you next time. This production is brought to you by the Plaid Dad Blog Podcast Network. For more information, visit plaiddadblog.com.